think we're ready to start. So good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. My name is Antoine Bergeon, and I'm the program coordinator here at the Ottawa branch of the National Association of Federal Retirees. So on behalf of the branch, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's webinar titled, What is Holding You Back from Exercising Regularly? And that's presented by Meg Stickl-Kroeker, owner of local business AIM Fitness. So in today's session, Meg will share the top 3 reasons why people have a hard time getting into a fitness routine, and she'll tell you what to do about it. And the second half of the presentation will be a stretch and strength workout to help get you moving. So that'll be great. Veuillez noter que le webinaire sera présenté en anglais, mais la participation bilingue est toujours encouragée. I do want to give a special welcome here to anyone who is not a member of the association. We hope that these webinars will inspire you to join us. And to our existing members, we hope that these webinars will encourage you to maintain your membership. Remember that you can give the gift of membership. To learn more about the gift of giving the gift of membership, please click the link in the chat box that will be put there shortly. After today's webinar, the Ottawa branch will send you an email with instructions on how to access the recording of today's webinar and how to join the association or give the gift of membership. Remember that you can always invite non-members to register for our webinars as guests and try us out for free. Finally, there will be a question and answer period at the end of the webinar. So please type any questions you have in the chat box throughout the session, and Meg will answer them during the Q&A period. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to turn over the presentation to Meg.
All right, thank you so much, Antoine. I'm just going to hook up my speaker. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Good. All right. So I want to welcome everyone here today. Nice to have you join me. So today's topic is what is holding you back from your workouts? What are the top 3 reasons that people have a hard time getting into a fitness routine and seeing results? So I have been doing this for quite a while. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Meg. I've been doing fitness for adults 50 plus for over 16 years. And this year I'm celebrating a big milestone, 10 years in business. But I was teaching part-time fitness classes before. So I have heard a lot of excuses. I've heard a lot of reasons why people can't exercise. I've also heard a lot of medical reasons why things change. So I want to cover all of those things today. So in case you need some motivation, in case you need some direction, or you need a little bit of almost like knowing what to do when things haven't been working out well, that's what this session is about. And then at the end, we will be doing a stretch and strength workout. So we will be moving, so we'll be able to really experience what it feels like to exercise in a really safe way. And we will be doing some Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions at any point, just pop them into the chat and I'll get to them at the end. So I want to share with you the very first thing, the first reason that people have a hard time getting into a fitness routine, and maybe you can relate. So number 1 is not having enough time. Now you can give me a wave, or you can say, yes, this is me in the chat box. If you say, yeah, I run out of time during my day. I don't always have time to fit in a workout. Does anyone relate to that? You may relate to that. It's interesting how when people retire, they think, oh, I'm going to have all of this time in the world. And then what happens is, yeah, so Donald says yes. Then what happens is life gets busy. Maybe you have grandkids, maybe you have family, maybe you now have time to travel. There's other priorities. And what you find is that focusing on your health, fitting in a workout just never seems to happen. So I'm going to share a little bit about one individual that I've worked with, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how you can change this. So one of the gentlemen that I worked with, what he found is he started working with me when he was still working. And he said, Meg, I know I want to retire in a few years, not quite ready to retire, but I want to get into a fitness routine now. Because he said, I'm busy and I have all these plans for retirement. So I started going to his home. I offer one-on-one personal training. So I would go to his home, exercise with him, lead him through different workouts designed for strength. He had a really bad back, so we worked on strengthening his back, strengthening his core. And he also knew that he lived in his own home. He wanted to be able to do things like lawn work, maintain his pool, and other household tasks. So what he found when I first met him is he said, Meg, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I don't have time. He's working. He has a busy social life. So I said, all right, well, how about starting slow? What about starting with one session with me every week? And then if you can do the exercises on your own, it'll take 30 minutes. When can we find the time for you to do that? So we looked at his schedule, his calendar, and yes, he was a very busy man, I have to say. So one tip that I want to share with you, if you find that you're like this, you have no time, you're so busy, is start your day with your workout. And this is what I recommended to him. His name is John, by the way. So I said, all right, John, let's book it in your calendar. Let's make this appointment as important as a work appointment. And he understood that. He said, all right, I can block it off. I can go into work a little bit later this day. And, 8 o'clock a.m., that'll be my workout. I'll fit it in for 30 minutes. So that was his plan. And, we all have the same amount of time in our day, but it's how we use it. And I do find, though, that if you don't start your day with your workout, it can be really hard to fit it in because life happens. Maybe you get a phone call that you're not expecting when you were going to work out in the afternoon, or something else comes up, or you realize, oh no, I didn't do my groceries this week. So I do recommend those two things. Start your day with your workout before the busy demands start happening, and then also schedule it in. Put it in your calendar, schedule it into your agenda so you actually do it. And then something else that can be helpful. So let's just say you say, you know what, Meg, that sounds great. I don't even know if I have half an hour right now. So I would suggest breaking it up. So if you can't fit in a full half hour, how about a 15-minute chunk? So maybe it is getting up a little bit earlier and doing your workout for 15 minutes in the morning. And then later on in the day, maybe after dinner, before it gets too dark, plan to go for a 15-minute walk. Maybe it's a speed walk that you're going to do, or even a bike ride. But again, it doesn't always have to be a full hour per day. It can be 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes later in the day. All right. So I hope that's helpful, because I understand life is so busy. There's so many demands on our time. And we really do have to be so intentional if we want to make the time to exercise. And that's what I think it really is about. We have to make that time. We have to choose to put that time into ourselves, into investing in us. So that's number one, is the excuse of I don't have time. So hopefully with those 3 tips, that has helped you with that. So number 2, I also hear another reason why people can't get into an exercise routine. Number 2 is not knowing what exercises are safe to do. So let us know in the chat if you have a medical condition, or if your health has changed. Maybe you've been diagnosed with a heart condition. Maybe you found out you have osteoporosis. Maybe you've developed, or your asthma is getting worse, or you have COPD, or maybe there's something else that has changed in the recent years. So this means you can't do what you used to do. So I'll tell you about a new client that my team is working with. So I have an amazing team. We offer in-home personal training all across Ottawa, and we can now offer it from Stittsville all the way to Orleans. And one of our new clients that we just met with last week, he is actually still working, and he's planning to retire in a few years. But recently, the reason he reached out to work with us is that he had a fall, a really bad fall, and he ended up breaking his shoulder. And the doctors and in the hospital, they said, this is not a normal break. You fell because you tripped over your own feet, but you shouldn't have broken a bone. Like, it was not high impact. That shouldn't have happened. So they ran some tests and found out that he, in fact, has osteoporosis. So that's the reason his bones are very brittle. So when he hit the floor, he broke his arm. So he reached out because he said, Meg, I used to do these intense workouts. I used to go to this gym and, I was doing high impact, big workouts, lots of cardio, lots of strength. He said, now I want to make sure I'm exercising properly because I understand that if you have osteoporosis, you need to be careful. You need to protect your spine. You want to avoid certain movements like lifting something heavy and twisting at your waist. You also want to be careful about leaning to the side. So he said, I want to have a plan developed so I can do my workouts. I know I'm doing them safely and correctly. So maybe like this new client, you think, oh yeah, I've been diagnosed with something, or you know what, I am a little bit worried about my knee or my hip or whatever it is. So it is important that you pay attention to your body, and it's important that you get good guidance. Because just watching a video that you find on YouTube, it doesn't guarantee that it is with an expert, and it doesn't guarantee that you're doing it correctly as well. It's important often to have someone right there to make sure your posture is correct and that you're listening to your body, doing what you can do. So a few tips for this. If you have a bad back, let's say you have a lot of back pain, we work with people who do. Often what people do is they do nothing because they're worried about making the pain worse. And maybe you can relate to this. You haven't exercised in a while because you don't want to make your condition worse. So if you do have a back that bothers you, strengthening the opposing muscle group, strengthening your core muscles can really help. And finding some core exercises that are done on a chair, not on the floor, can make you feel more comfortable. So we will be doing a little bit later, I'll show you a few safe core exercises that you can do if you have a bad back. Now, those of you with bad knees or bad hips, maybe you know you're due for a hip or knee replacement, that's to come, or maybe you've had one and you haven't been recovering that well. Something you should be focusing on is strengthening the muscles above and below the joint. So let's say this is your knee, you want to be strengthening your upper leg and also the lower leg as well, because that will help to support your joints. And it's important to walk as well. It's really important to keep walking, but just walking and only doing that is not going to strengthen the muscles in the way that they need to be strengthened. So it is important to think about, okay, how can I strengthen safely? And another rule of thumb is to go slow and to add more weight or add more challenge gradually. So you don't put too much stress on your joints, whether it's your stress on your back or whether it is a joint replacement. And then something else, often, we have a lot of people, like I mentioned, who have osteoporosis. So there's certain movements you really want to be careful about. One of them is rounding your back. Often the spine can become more weak, and as the bones become more brittle, it can be really simple and really easy to fracture your spine. So if you are exercising, you want to keep that back nice and straight. And then we also, if you have osteoporosis, you want to make sure that you're doing weight-bearing exercises. So this is anything that is standing. So that's going up and down stairs, that's doing squats or lunges, that's using weights for extra resistance, but supporting your own body weight is really key, especially for people with osteoporosis, in order to strengthen muscle and bone as well. So that's the number two. The second reason people don't exercise or don't get into a routine is they don't know what exercises to do. What is safe for me? What is not? I do recommend reaching out to a professional. You can talk to me as well if you have certain conditions, you're not sure what to do. But it is important to get that guidance because you want to get moving as much as you can and recover as fast as possible if you have had something hold you back. All right, and then the third reason that people are not getting into a fitness routine is that they are exercising inconsistently. And I see this a lot. I hear from a lot of people who say, oh yeah, they say, oh, Meg, I used to exercise before COVID. Oh yeah, when I was younger, I was part of an aerobics group. Or, oh, I was part of the cycling group. Or, well, when I was in my 40s, I did this workout program at work. Or maybe it's been a little more recent for some, and you have been active, but your exercise class shut down at the beginning of COVID. Or, you had a group that you used to go for walks with, and it kind of disintegrated over time. So it is important to think about consistency. And we know that if you are lifting weights once a month, are you going to be improving your strength? Not really, not really. Once a month, exercising is not going to do much for you, unfortunately. And I'm sure if you've taken any time off over the years, you've stopped exercising, you have stopped walking, it doesn't take long to find that your stamina goes down, your strength decreases. Even walking, you might find that you're out of breath or feel a bit puffy as you're walking if you don't do it regularly. So being consistent is really important. Now I'm going to share a few tips on how to stay consistent with your workouts, because what I've seen, what I've been able to help people do is to know what to do safely, to schedule it into their calendars, and to become more consistent with some helpful tips. So the first tip I want to share is something called habit stacking. And it was kind of funny because when I shared the description of this webinar with Antoine and his team, I got an email back saying, not from Antoine, but saying, what do you mean by habit stacking? And they thought it was a typo. So maybe you haven't heard of habit stacking either. You think, what is this she's talking about? So I read this book called Atomic Habits. I read that this summer and I loved it. It was so good. It gave a lot of examples on how to build healthy habits around eating well and exercising well and other things as well. But the author talks about habit stacking, and this is a really good way and a good way to build new habits into your daily life. So one example they give is when if you're a coffee drinker, if you're a tea drinker in the morning, go into the kitchen, get that coffee ready to go, and while it's percolating, you've got some time to do some exercises. So I recommend in the morning when you're waiting for coffee or tea is to add that new habit. So that's something you do every day. It's a habit. Go into the kitchen, get the coffee going. And then the new habit, where you end up doing the habit stacking, is sink exercises. So while you're waiting, go right over to the sink. You can do some bend over stretches, reach hands on the counter, bend over. You could do some high knees where you lift your legs nice and high, some heel raises, some lunges, some squats. You could even do some push-ups against the counter too. So these are all things that you can do. And what I love about the habit stacking idea is you don't have to make it complicated, but you can add a new habit to something that you're already doing. So that's one example. Another example, this is something I do personally, is once a day when I want to go in and collect my mail, I don't only go to the mailbox, but I get ready for a walk. So I've got a dog, Finley. So usually my husband comes home from work and I say, all right, let's go, let's do our walk. And then on the way back, we get the mail. So combine getting the mail with a walk. And if you have a neighbor or you have a friend who you can invite to join you, you'll go a lot further than normal. What I find for us is we'll chat about our day, and it's a lot of fun to go for a walk at the end of the day and to connect with someone because there's a lot to say, there's a lot to talk about. So quite often, including this week, we were going for the walk, we were doing a shorter loop, and I said, you know what, let's do our long loop today. I want to tell you more about this. So doing that, so again, it's that habit stacking, going to check the mail, go for your walk at the same time, and then it'll start to become routine. It'll start to become easy. You won't even have to think about it over time because it's just part of your lifestyle. It's part of what you do. All right, so those are some examples on how to be more consistent with your workouts. And then if we go back to our other tips about scheduling it, so putting it in your calendar, choosing your exact time of day when you're going to do your exercises, that will make things a lot easier too. Now, before we move on, one thing I do see a lot of, and I have a lot of friends who are physiotherapists, and I often hear from people who say, well, I had to go for physio for my shoulder or for my knee. And they go for physio, they get a list of exercises, and they do the exercises for a week, for 2 weeks, maybe for 3 weeks. They're touching base with their physiotherapist, and they're being told, hey, yeah, we're seeing progress, you're doing a great job. And then the last session comes up and they say, all right, you've completed your physio, but you need to keep going. You need to keep going. And often this is when people say, oh, yeah, I'll keep going. I'll do it for sure. But they don't have another meeting with their physiotherapist. So that motivation is gone. And it's up to them to be consistent on their own. And I do see a lot of people who talk to me and say, yeah, I ended up putting my exercise sheets beside my bed or on the table, and then I kind of forgot. I got out of the routine. So the best thing to do, if this is you, or if you find you're in and out of being consistent and not being consistent, is really treat this seriously. So just like you're going to see a physiotherapist, you have to do the exercises. They're going to ask you about it. Set your own goals. Set your own goals and put a bit of pressure on yourself to keep consistent, to keep going. Because the worst thing we can do is to start and stop our routine. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of motivation to restart and to begin again. Now, I have to tell you about this group of ladies that I've been teaching for a while. So they're part of my online program, AIM Fitness Online. And I touch base with them because I want to know, how's it going? How are your workouts going? And these ladies are so consistent. It's incredible. Just recently, this summer, a few of them had some setbacks. So one woman, she found that her shoulder was bothering her. Another woman found that her vertigo flared up, so she had to adjust what she was doing. But what these ladies did is they kept exercising. They didn't stop, even if there was an issue. They adjusted what they could do. So the one woman with her bad shoulder, she said, all right, well, I'm just going to give this arm a bit of a break, but I can still do exercises on the other side. I can still focus on my lower body. I can still focus on my balance. And I find this to be so refreshing and so encouraging when I hear people say, you know what? Exercising is so important to me that I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to stop completely, but I'm going to get creative and I'm going to see how I can stay active in the way that I can do it, in the way that I can do it now. So I do encourage you, if this is you, and if you say, you know what, there are things that are holding me back, don't let yourself quit. Don't let yourself give up completely, but use these tips that I've given today so that you can stay consistent, so that you can still fit in a workout routine regardless of how much time you have. Make that time. And then also focus on exercises that you can do safely. And like I said, you can always reach out for help if you need something specific. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Let me know in the comment section which of these is more of an issue for you. So is it about not having time? So you can write time. You can let us know not sure what to do. Maybe that's number 2, you're not sure what to do with your condition, or number 3, which was being inconsistent. So you can let us know with those 3 words. Timing, if that's a challenge for you, not sure what to do, or inconsistent. So let us know in the chat. Okay, Helen says inconsistent. Yeah, and it's good to be honest with ourselves. And it's also good to know that it's never too late. It's never too late to get back into that routine. All right, Randy says motivation. Okay, good. A lot of people I find, I just want to, all 3, Alexandra says, okay, thanks for sharing. and inconsistent. Someone else shares, I live alone, have developed a wicked who even cares feeling. Oh, for me, it was inconsistent. Yeah, okay. Thanks for sharing, everyone. It's good to be honest with where you're at. It is really good to be honest. And then it's also good to know that it's not too late for you. It's not too late. As I've mentioned before, I work with adults 50 plus, and a lot of people I work with are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, some even older than that. And what I've seen is that if you are determined to improve your health, you're going to put in the time, you see the benefit of exercising, you say, you know what, I'm really ready for this. I've seen people achieve amazing things. And we're not talking about running marathons. We're not talking about getting into beach body shape. Those are not the goals that I'm helping people with. I'm helping people gain more balance so that they can go up and down stairs with more ease. I'm helping people improve their strength so they can do household things. They can do their hobbies and enjoy them and not be worried about pulling a muscle or falling. And I'm helping people improve their mindset. And this is where we talk about having that positive mindset, believing that, hey, I can get better and it's worth investing in myself for myself. So even if you do live alone, even if you kind of think, well, what's the point? It's important to think, what's important to me? Maybe you've been someone who's taken care of other people a lot of your life, and now it's time to invest in your own health. And maybe this is a big step for some of you to think of, wow, doing something just for me. But just imagine what you could keep doing, what your life would continue to look like if you were a bit stronger and a bit more flexible. All right, so on that note, we are going to move to our stretch and strength workout. So I'll have you join me. We are going to start sitting. So you're probably sitting already. All right, so give yourself a little bit of space and then move up so you're not touching the back of your chair. So you want to sit close to the edge. Now we're going to take those feet a little bit wider, legs wide, and we're going to start by reaching your arm up and over. Now, if you have osteoporosis or if your back bothers you, I want you to do what I'm doing right now. Sit nice and tall. Focus on reaching. All right, but not bending. If you do not have a back problem, if you don't have osteoporosis, you can add a little bit of a side bend. So bringing one hand to your knee, reaching up and then leaning to the side. So you'll feel this down the side of your body. And we keep our legs wide so you don't fall off your chair. It's all about safety. All right, good. So focus on your breathing. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good, let's do 3 more. Inhale and exhale. 2 and 1. All right, so I'll show you from the side this next one. We want to reach our arms right in front. Arms are straight, and then bend your elbows, squeezing your shoulder blades back together. So reach in front. This is great, a good strengthener for our back. Good for posture as well. So think about keeping your shoulders nice and low as you squeeze back. Good. So inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Good. So we'll do 9 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Notice how that back is feeling for this one. It should feel really nice. Let's do 5 more. And 4. And 3. 2. And 1. All right, excellent job. So that's a really good one for our back. You should feel that one. This one I recommend doing during the day if you're just sitting around or in front of a screen. Often we sit like this. So this reminds us to sit a little bit straighter. All right, the next one we're going to do is for the legs, the back of the legs. So make sure you have enough space. So once again, we want to sit close to the edge of the chair and lengthen one leg. Okay, so keep one knee bent, the other leg is nice and straight. So this is a really good stretch for the back of the legs, which get really tight. If you are walking every day, you want to do this one every day. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by leaning over and reaching. Now, if you have osteoporosis or a bad back, make sure you keep your back straight. All right, what we want to do is we want to reach as far as we can without straining and without bending your knee. Just notice where your fingers go. How far can you go towards your toe? You may be more like this, or maybe like that. And then we're going to do this 10 times. We want to start by leaning over and reaching as far as you can, and then rise back up. All right, now as you lean over, as you bend, you may feel a really deep stretch in the back of the leg. So don't overdo it. But we want to lean and reach as far as you can, breathing in and out. And what you'll find, because what we're doing is we're warming up the muscles up in the back of the legs. So the hamstring and also our gastrocnemius right in the back, our calf muscle. So let's do this a few more times. You may find that you can go a bit further. All right, let's do 5 more. Breathing in and out. 4 more. Good, and 3. Last 2. And 1. All right, so this one, let's do what we just did and lean and reach. How far can you go? You may notice that you're going further than that first time. Hold it here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rise up. Okay, good. So lift those heels, keep your toes on the floor, lift those heels, and just notice if you feel a bit of a difference in the back of this leg. All right, let's do the other side. So the other side. So lengthen that leg. Again, no bending at the knee, hand on your other knee, and lean over to start. How far can you go? Without straining, notice where your fingers line up. And then let's rise up, bring that arm back, and we'll do 10 reaches. There we go. So 1. Breathe in, breathe out. 2. Now, as you're doing this one, 3, just see if one side seems to be more flexible than the other. Quite often, I see people who find one side, they can go a lot further on. This is 5. And 6. 7. And 8. 9. And for 10, once again, we want to lean and reach as far as you can. Just notice if you go a bit further than when we first started. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let me know in the chat if you were able to go further. Isn't it so interesting? So I love doing this one. Like I said, if you are going for regular walks, if you get cramps in the back of your legs at night, and if you just find your legs are really stiff, sometimes that's from underuse, it's from sitting around all day. So I do recommend doing some strengthening exercises, but make sure you don't forget about stretching too. All right, so let's stand up. Stand up for our next few exercises. All right, and I recommend standing either right behind your chair or have it to the side. So this next one is really going to help to strengthen the back of our body, and it's going to also help to lengthen and stretch everything out. So I'm going to show you a few options here. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so Donald is noticing he can stretch a bit more. Good for you. That's great. Let us know. It's always interesting to see everyone's experience. All right, so the first option, this is called the bird dog. You can do this on the floor, but today I'll show you the standing option. So we're going to be focusing on opposite arm, opposite leg. So what I want us to do is we're going to reach one arm in front and start by tapping the opposite leg back, tapping that toe. All right, we're going to hold it here. 3, 2, 1, and then return that hand and foot. Let's do the other side, tapping your toe, reaching your arm, and then back. So we're going to hold it, 3, 2, 1, and the other side, 3, 2, 1. So if your back tends to bother you, if you have osteoporosis, stay with this option, and you'll probably feel the back of the leg and your back working. Now, option 2 is instead of tapping your foot behind, we're focusing on lifting. So it looks like this. Lengthen that leg, keeping your spine nice and straight. Lifting and holding. 3, 2, 1. And down. And again, lifting. 3, 2, 1. And down. Other side. So remember, opposite arm, opposite leg. You'll be more balanced that way. Hold on to that chair with your other hand. Good. All right, let's do a few more here. The more you lift the leg, the more challenging it is. But again, if you have lower back pain, keep that leg low, tapping, or keep that leg closer to the floor. All right, let's do 3 more per side. Really lengthen. And down. Other side. 3, 2, 1. 2 more per side. Lift. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And 1 more per side. 3, 2, 1. And again. 3, 2, 1. All right, excellent. So let's circle those shoulders backwards. Just notice how that one felt. We're using all the muscles in the body for that one, but especially back and back of the legs. All right, good. So I did mention that when we have a bad back, it's important to strengthen our core muscles. So I'll show you an exercise you can do. We'll go back to that chair. All right, so we want to sit close to the edge of the chair. This exercise is called the reverse sit-up. So we're going to bring those arms right across your chest like this. Keep that back nice and straight, feet walk away from you. And then we're going to be leaning backwards, but don't touch the back of the chair. Now for your neck, make sure you're not looking up to the ceiling. That strains your neck. Instead, look straight ahead. Find a focal point. So we want to breathe in as we go back, pause, breathe out, and straight. Breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in, going back. No touching the back of the chair. All right, so you should feel this one in your stomach, in those core muscles, as we're leaning back, especially. Now you can also do this one on the side of your bed in the morning. That's a good time to do it. And because you don't have the back of a chair like this, you can go a little bit further back if you want. But I do find on the chair is just fine. All right, let's do a few more here. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. All right, excellent. We'll circle the shoulders backwards again here. All right, very good. Now, quite often when people are getting into a fitness routine, they get overwhelmed with too many exercises. So we're just going to stick to a few today. And I do recommend watching the replay if you want to, again, go over each one. But don't try to fit in 100 new exercises. Really try to just focus on a few at a time. All right, the next one we're going to do, which can help with knees, if you have any painful knees, bad knee, or you've had a hip or knee replacement. I was mentioning how we want to strengthen the muscles above and then below the joints. So we're going to start with this one and stand right behind your chair. So let's place one foot right in front, one leg back, shoulders are back. I suggest holding on for this one. And what we want to do, this is a variation on the lunge. So we want to take your hips back, hinge at the hips, bend both knees, and pause here, and then straighten those legs. So bend those knees, hips back, pause, and then straighten up both legs. So it doesn't have to be very far. You're not going all the way to the floor, thank goodness. But this one, you should feel right in the tops of those legs or thighs, maybe in the back of the legs, a little bit or in the knee. This is strengthening the muscles around the knee. All right, we're going to do 5 more. And 4. And 3. Great job. 2 more. And 1. All right, good. So let's switch legs. Before you do that, march it out, stretch out those legs. And then the opposite foot goes in front, opposite leg back. All right, same thing. You know what to do. Hips back, bend those knees, straighten both legs. Good. Now I've worked with quite a few people with osteoarthritis and arthritis in their knees, and they found that this exercise really made a big difference, made walking easier, even going up and down stairs was a little more easy too, more mobility. So we're strengthening your legs, and we do really require that strength. All right, let's do a few more, last 2. One more time. All right, wonderful. So let's walk that out. Great exercise there. All right, now I did mention osteoporosis and the importance of doing weight-bearing exercises. So I'm going to show you a sequence of 2 different exercises you can do, including some balance and strength. So again, we want to use that chair. We're going to take your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and I'm going to show you a proper squat. I'll show you from the side. So if you're holding onto your chair, and like I said, feet are as wide as your hips. We want to take our hips back, like you're sitting on a chair, and then straighten those legs. Now, even going halfway, if your knees are bothering you, is just fine. So hips back, like you're sitting on a chair, straighten those legs. All right, so this is a really good one. If you have osteoporosis, make sure you keep your back straight. Good. So I'm going to show you what we're going to add on to this one. So we're going to do a squat, and then I want you to lift one leg, lift the other leg, again, lift one leg, and the other leg, working on balance, and reposition those feet, hips back, squat. We're going to do 2 squats, 4 lifts. All right, so let's start from the beginning. 1 and 2, and marching. You can hold on to the chair, or you can pump your arms at your side. Again, 2 squats. 1 and 2, and 4 knee lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, hips back. 1 and 2, and lift those knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Squat and squat, and lift for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round. 2 and 1 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so there's an example of weight-bearing exercise. doing a squat and then focusing on your balance, lifting those knees nice and high. All right, so we are going to move to a few stretches and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, pop them in the chat now and then join me for some stretching. All right, so we're gonna stay standing, use that chair, take a big step back and bend into your front knee. Now we should feel that back leg stretching out. So press your heel to the floor and then lean in towards that chair. You'll notice that my back is straight. Again, we want to really keep that back and spine straight, especially if you have osteoporosis. If you want to work on your balance, reach the opposite arm in front. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing through that heel. Good. Hand to your chair, and then we want to lean back. Bring those shoulders back, hinge back a little bit, and you should feel that stretch right in the front of your hip. These are the hip flexors, and they get really tight. So you can either stay here or add the same arm up overhead. That will help to deepen that stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Let's lower your hand back to that chair and step beside your foot. Other side. Good. So bending into that knee, pressing back with your heel. Good. Leaning in. And then reaching your arm in front. So challenging our balance as we stretch the leg. Okay. Great. Hands on the chair, lean back. Notice that stretch again in the hip flexor. Reach your arm up to deepen that stretch. Okay, keep breathing as well. It's important to keep breathing. Let's lower your hand to the chair and then let's walk it out. As we're marching, circle your shoulders backwards. And just notice, how are your legs feeling? How are you feeling in general? Now today we've done a short workout, but you're probably noticing that you've done something good for yourself. So I just want to reiterate that just doing something short, it doesn't have to be so long, but it does make a big difference. And being consistent, doing it over and over again, you will just start to really notice many improvements to your health. All right, let's take your legs a little bit wider. If you have osteoporosis today, just move the arms, no twisting. If you do not have osteo, then twist. And you can even look over your shoulder. Take your time with this one. Slow it down, stretching your back. Good. 2 more. 1 more per side. Good. And then you can move back to your chair. Move back to your chair. We'll focus on our shoulders and our neck. So let's bring your shoulders up to your ears and relax down. Breathing in, breathing out. Good job. We'll do 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then stretching our neck, bring your ear towards your shoulder. Other hand, we want to lift up, angle those fingers up. This will deepen the stretch down the side of your neck. Good, keep breathing. Good, and then release. Do the other side, ear towards your shoulder, keep your shoulders low, reaching that other hand, pressing away from you. Good, let's release. And then we'll look up and down, stretching that neck. Good job. We're almost done. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And 1. All right, let's bring those arms out to the side, stretching into your shoulders, and then give yourself a hug. Inhale, reach back. And exhale, give yourself a hug. One more time. And give yourselves a pat on your back. Amazing work. Great job. So what are the next steps? You felt good, you're doing well, and you think, oh, okay, I'm ready to make some changes. I wanted to let you know that I would love to offer you a complimentary phone call. I offer 15-minute health chats. So if you want to share with me what your health is looking right now and what your health goals are, you can book a call with me. So you can go and visit my website, activitiesinmotion.ca, to book that. And I know Antoine will be sending out the recording, so I'll make sure that link is included as well. So I can hear about your health. I'd love to tell you about our programs that we offer. We offer in-home personal training and online Zoom classes. And we also have the AIM Fitness online membership, which I have a special discount code for all NAFR members. So 33% is the discount that you get on my membership. So if you enjoyed these exercises today, if you felt like this was really good and you'd like more, and maybe you do have many of those health conditions that I mentioned today, or on the other hand, maybe you said, well, I could do a little bit more. I think I consider myself to be an advanced exerciser. I've got workouts for you as well. So I have a full program every week. You get an email with the exercises of the week. So you can simply open up your email and click on the video of the day. And I have a whole calendar for people who are beginners, who are just getting started, and who want short workouts. The workouts are between 15 to 20 minutes. And then I have another calendar for those who consider themselves to be advanced exercisers, and the videos are a little bit longer, also 15, but up to 30 minutes. And sometimes I include 45-minute workouts as well. And there's a lot of extra challenges focusing on, again, strength, balance, cardio, all of that is there. So again, if you're interested in this, be sure to use the coupon code for this month. Every month it changes, but you can be sure to get 33% off either a monthly or a yearly membership. All right, so I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to visit the chat. So if anyone has any specific questions or a comment from today, let us know. You can put your comment right there in the chat, and we'll get to that before we finish for today. Okay, so some of this I looked at already. Is the reverse sit-up okay for osteoporosis and glaucoma limitations? Yes, it is. As long as you keep your back straight as you're doing it, then that should be fine. The problem is sometimes I see people rounding their back as they go back. So just make sure your back is nice and straight as you lean back. Okay, so that's important. And in glaucoma, I imagine that if you look straight, you should be fine. Find a focal point, something to look at. If you're looking too high up, that may bother your eyesight. Good question. Okay, can we rewatch the exercise video somewhere? Yes, so this video will be, the replay will be emailed out. And it's also, I know it's you can also find all of the replays from my previous webinars right on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube, I think also on the website as well, and you can watch the replays there. Okay, Nicole shares, I like these exercises. I feel a lot better. Thanks. Great to hear. Diana says, fantastic beginning workout. Good for you. Good for you. Thank you. Helen, thank you so much. This is great. Randy, thank you. Very encouraging. And then someone asks how to contact you for the program. So I'll share my website here. Activitiesinmotion.ca. So there's my website. And there will be a follow-up email sent out as well. So if you want to contact me through there, that's where we share the promo code. If you want to book a call, there will be a way to contact me there too. Need to work on strengthening muscles. Yeah. And you may notice that from today, you may think, oh, I'm either better than I thought, or, oh boy, I've got a far ways to go. So just know whether you are regularly exercising or it's just getting back into that routine this fall, You're doing it. You're doing it. Today was the first step. The first step was just doing it, just exercising. So if you participated today, you're so much closer to those goals. All right, many thanks. All right, thank you. Thank you, Alexandra. Thanks, everybody. So I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you feel just a little bit more motivated, and I hope that you have a bit of a plan that you can implement in order to get back into that routine and to really see results. All right, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Meg. That was wonderful. Just a few words from me before we head off. So I just want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you for participating. Hopefully you got a good exercise session out of that, and you learned some tips about keeping a regular exercise session planning going. So a reminder, we will be sending out a follow-up email either today or tomorrow that will include information on how to access the recording if you want to go over the exercises again, and it'll have some information about Meg and how to sign up for her programs. Finally, remember they can invite non-members to try out these webinars for free. To register for any upcoming webinars, please visit the Ottawa branch website, and that link will be also included in the follow-up email. Okay, that's it for me. So thank you so much, and see you at our next webinar. Bye, everyone.